Welcome, friends. It's Coach Mary here with the Coreview Way. Thank you for joining me for our series on de-stressing the holidays. Yep, beginning in October. Would like you for the next while to just sit back and relax, enjoying a conversation from myself to you. But my conversation is all about you. It's not about a diet plan or a lifestyle have-to or do-overs. It's about you, the conversation available for you to have with yourself to prepare for ending the year, to ringing in 2022, being the best version of yourself. Before I begin, let me tell you a little bit of my background. I'm a retired sugar peddler, now an integrative strategist on lifestyles and wellness, and an enthusiast for living healthy and active as we age. So getting ready to go into the holiday time, I know that I need to sit back and relax myself. So thanks for joining me on this ride. Here's what you should expect from this morning. I'm going to give you some ideas around the fall season, how to celebrate and enjoy Halloween just a little bit more, and looking ahead to the next year, deepening that awareness in yourself for you to be the best version you possibly can. My background comes to you today as a retired restaurateur and bakery owner of over 30 years. Having reached middle-aged and looking beyond, I decided to change my lifestyle into a more wholesome, healthier lifestyle that includes exercise and activity out of doors, and also enjoying the holidays in a way unimaginable. But not waiting until the holidays are upon us, I've chosen to encourage you to join me in starting to enjoy the holidays beginning in October. So let's get started. Over the next several moments that we spend together, we're going to talk about the inserting of spices into our diet. And the fall is the perfect time to do that. So many of our harvested vegetables and fruits at this time of the year, they just embrace the feelings and the soothing aromas of spices like no other. Enjoying those help us boost our immune system, improve our emotional well-being, and just generally be happier. Beginning with Halloween as our first holiday de-stressor, have you ever thought about Halloween actually having some health benefits? I don't know about you, but I'm more like this little girl in this picture. I wanted to dive into the candy bucket, and I wanted to finish all of the cookies and the cupcakes. But really, if we take a look, my friends, at Halloween as the precursor to the season ahead, it can help us be better prepared for maybe managing our Thanksgiving festivities and then all of the trappings of our December festivities in a better manageable way, to leave us feeling better and more comfortable as we end the year. So this is why I've chosen Halloween as the kickoff to the holiday season. You may traditionally think that it is actually more at Thanksgiving and like I said, at Christmas. But as a retired baker, my sugar and my sweet tooth intake started to really get amped up when it became Halloween. You have all of the beautifully decorated sugar cookies and cupcakes and bags of candy that line the aisles in the grocery stores, just tempting us with empty calories and mindless eating. So now whether my conversation is finding you at a work desk or in your home, when we have those temptations around us, it's so easy to dip our hand into the bag or into the bowl and consume more portions than we actually realize. If we take Halloween and think of that in the context of what are the triggers for that mindless eating around Halloween, And combine that with some alternatives of cooking with spicing it up in the fall, maybe, just maybe, we can become more aware of how we can have a full, healthier holiday season as we end the year. So here are some of the areas that I'm going to touch upon over the next moments that we're together. Setting a de-stressing goal setting by setting one goal. We'll talk around immune boosting tips. We'll talk about how to develop a fall workout plan using seasonal spice that can improve your own well-being. And then we're going to explore, how Halloween actually has health benefits. I know, it's just crazy. It's not just the candy bowl. So let's talk, shall we, for a moment around holiday stress. And putting Halloween aside, think about the gatherings that you have around Thanksgiving, the preparations that come to that being in the next month, and then moving on to whatever your December celebrations are, whether it's with Hanukkah, whether it's with Christmas, whatever your traditions are. This is the time I'd like you to take a piece of paper and a pen and explore if any of these triggers are identifiable. Do you ever feel, even today, that you're just not good enough? You know, there's a person that in your past, maybe just you wanted to please them, but they never recognized the value that you were. Maybe they put you down or they ignored you. And so you just tried harder. And so you got those self-limiting beliefs in you that you just flat out aren't good enough. Well, those are emotional connections to our past that get inflamed during the holiday season. Then we have financial issues, financial constraints, and we have packages, gifts to buy. We have different foods to prepare, so our grocery budget gets a little out of whack. How does that play in your usual traditional manner around Thanksgiving and Christmas? Now's the time that I'd like you to start to think about that so that you can say, all right, I'm going to either prepare a better budget, I'm going to look for things on sale, but start getting ahead of that. Traveling for the holiday is a huge emotional trigger for many of us. Whether we are making connecting air flights, whether we're driving by car, and we don't know what the weather is going to be, it can really create anxiety way ahead of time, just when we make the commitment or buy the ticket. Then we have multiple commitments. And in today's world, since we have been going through the COVID pandemic and has restricted us so much, now as our conditions are making us more free and able to socialize, we want to see everybody. I know I do. And I bet you there are folks on your list. You want to have all of these commitments packaged together. Well, that can add another stress. So start to put on a piece of paper somewhere in this month those people that you really want to spend a little time with so that you can work on your time management ahead of time. Here's a big one on the trigger with holiday stress. And I want you to think about it right now. What is your current physical condition? How do you feel living inside that beautifully gifted body that you were given, this one-time use body? Is there an annual cycle around the holidays that you are on that yo-yo? You already know, I don't maybe feel great, but it's the holidays coming up, and over the months, I know I'm going to pack on even more weight. Or I'm going to indulge in foods I don't normally eat, making me feel less comfortable in my skin. Why not today have a conversation with yourself about how you truly feel inside your body and start to take steps so that as you enter into the end of the year and then on to the new year, you're ready to go with more well-being, emotionally and physical, because we know there is social overindulgence. We all have that happen to us during the fourth quarter of each and every year. So you can see we have some symptoms here: your anxiety, sadness, headaches, body aches, irritability, and inability to sleep. These triggers impact that. So if you can relate to any of that today as we're having this conversation, this is the time to write it down, pick a couple of those triggers to start to think around how that impacts how you're not only feeling today, then how can you make improvements on them going ahead? And that's what this series is all about, is for you to have this conversation with yourself in on your own conversation. The holidays are oftentimes a time that it's a yo-yo. We may start at a healthy weight and we end at an overweight. And it all comes beginning in Halloween, oftentimes with that Halloween candy dish. So today, I want you to start that mindset. Oh no, not again. I'm not going to be a yo-yo. I'm going to start to have some measured thought on how I will treat my own mind, body, and spirit going forth as we talk about Halloween. So now here we go. As it's easy to say we want to create goals, but I want you to relax. Before you do anything, just relax. And if it helps you take a nice deep breath, a 4 count in and a 4 count out, then by all means, slow the breath down. But growth comes, my friend, with one goal at a time. There's a lot out there in our world around us. We need to set goals, and it's always in plural. Well, in my case, and maybe yours, I get intimidated by that. Maybe I don't even know what one goal is, let alone plural goals. Today, the goal for me is for you to identify one goal that you're willing to make a commitment to. Whatever that may be, you get to choose. You see, our conversation here, again, is not about me telling you what to do. It's about you having a conversation with yourself as to what you are willing to do for yourself. So we need to be honest with ourselves. That can be a big challenge right there. We've been living for a long time with self-limiting beliefs. We can rationalize and excuse away good behavior without any issue. So identifying what is holding you back. Are you afraid of really dealing with a self-limiting belief that it's time to let go because it's no longer serving you? Well, what is that? Go ahead and write that down. And then ask yourself, are you really ready to feel happier? Then what is holding you back? Right. Okay, now to do this, we create just that one goal. And then we create it and we act. So it's simple. 2 words for me: could and will. We live in the could side of our life a lot. I know I do. But I know when I decide I will, I have to have a plan to do that. The plan is yours, friend, not mine for you. The plan is for you to come up with a plan. You could work with a coach, you could work with an accountability partner, as a friend, a family member, but the ultimate plan is yours, one that you can commit to. Now, to do this successfully, my opinion is, and suggestion is, to put a date on it. Sure, dates can be moved, but just the act of when you create the plan and you've decided on that one goal, if you set a date to it, the brain kicks in and it gives you a target. When we don't put a date to something, it allows ourselves to drift. So think of setting a date as an anchor on a boat out in the ocean. You can see the world around it, but you're anchored in place so that you can manage the day-to-day life on that boat. That's what a date will help you do as you create that plan. All right, let's get started and talk about the food plan. And we're just in October, we're just going to be talking about spice right now, but we will be working in November and December on creating a little bit more of a food strategy around the holidays and especially the cold weather months. Pure honesty with you, I don't always have a great food plan. Even as a coach and an enthusiast for a healthy lifestyle, all food plans at times get upside down. It can be because of the work schedule and there's a deadline that just keeps your head focused on that singular topic and the pressures of day-to-day work. It can be a new school schedule, the kids' after-school activities. It can be taking care of aging parents, or it can just flat out be our mood that I don't know what to eat. I'm tired of cooking and it just isn't working for me. So you may find yourself in one of those categories. Don't worry. It's only a short period of time. It's again, you can work your way out of that. And spice is a great time to do it. And fall is a really good time to do it. The reason being, the body is starting to change during those fall cooler weathers. And so we shift into eating different types of food that are available from the harvest. Adding spice in this season to our food certainly boosts the mood. Our immune systems benefit from it, and our mental state of well-being is improved by adding spice. Now, you may not be a gifted home cook, all right? And that's fine. Wherever you're accessing your food, I want to encourage you, you can still add these spices. You may need to do a little bit more research and work to access them, but they are available. So in today's marketplace, we are eating out more. We have food delivery coming, the prepared meals, or like where you cook it at home, or maybe you are a good home cook. Let's run down those three areas real quick. If you're eating out more, now is a fun time to go explore new restaurants. So from the spices, I'm going to suggest that you start consuming on a daily or regular basis. Seek out a restaurant that you know is using some of these and speak with the waiter. Ask them to get input from the chef on what dishes would have these spices in. If you're using a like HelloFresh or one of those types of home delivery where you're going to cook it at home, go through their menu and see what are the menu options that will have these spices come to your doorstep as well. And then if you are a home cook, just load it up in your cupboard and just have a great time exploring new recipes. You see, all three of these things, wherever you're accessing your food, is all about discovery. And it's this discovery between your fork and your feet. And sometimes we travel those feet for our fork to get some new influences on them. And that's just what spice does. Cinnamon is a common go-to. That's the one I think most of us as Americans in particular are friendly with. Cinnamon takes us back to our childhood for many, whether it's cinnamon rolls, whether it's a snickerdoodle cookie that has cinnamon on it, cinnamon toast. You, I'm guessing, have something in your background. But not only from that childhood memory, it's the maker of whoever provided that for you. And so there's an emotional bond that comes and is elicited from cinnamon that softens our heart. It relaxes the inside of the body and lets go some of those stresses and tensions that we hold on to that we don't even realize. And just the aroma of cinnamon, it does make us feel more relaxed and more at peace. So it is truly a mood enhancer. Plus, it regulates our blood sugar. So using cinnamon as a daily health tip that you can sprinkle on your yogurt. I do that on a regular basis. Oatmeal and yogurt are common breakfast foods in the Coreview Way household, and a little bit of cinnamon in the morning. You know that you're just adding something into your body that's going to help it function more optimally on a regular basis. The sugars that we get in our diet don't only come from that candy bag. We're consuming sugar on a regular basis, even those of us that eat a wholesome, fresh diet. It's just natural sugar. So adding that cinnamon in there helps the body, again, regulate the blood sugar, which is super important for anti-inflammatory, antioxidant benefits, and then also to help regulate the immune system. Ginger root may be something you're not naturally drawn toward. Maybe you think of ginger more as the ginger powder that's going to go into either a curry, an Asian dish, or into a pumpkin pie. I encourage people to have fresh ginger root around and steep it for a brew, making a fresh ginger tea. Now you can see I have this photo here. Again, there is a cinnamon stick because it's a wonderful companion to fresh ginger. But you can see, I wanted you to see the inside of that ginger root. You buy it at the grocery and the produce department. When you bring it home, make sure you scrub it really well, more so than you may think you need to, because they have a lot of crooks and crannies in their knuckles, and I want you to make sure that you clean it as best you can. You don't have to skin it, and just go ahead and slice it and add it to a cup of tea of your favorite brand, or I could slice up that whole piece you see there, put it in about 4 cups of water with those cinnamon sticks, add an orange, add a lemon, and go ahead and let it steep for 2 to 4 hours and keep it in the refrigerator. But using fresh ginger root from the source over the powder really is great for oral bacteria, to lessen that, for healthier gums. If you're anxious and have a nervous tummy, or you have a deadline that you've got a lot of feeling a little nausea, ginger will settle and calm that system. It's excellent for the swelling and arthritis. And again, it's another blood sugar modulator. Garlic is a go-to, and unless you're allergic to it, I would encourage you to find multiple ways to use garlic in your diet daily. I've got cloves here for you today, the whole clove, because I'd like you to consider using it in a different manner than maybe you have in the past, and that would be roasting it. By adding garlic, whether it's fresh or powder or roasted, it helps you prevent and lessen those symptoms of flus and colds. And we know going into the autumn season and the winter months, it is common that it's easy to pick up one of those things. So we want to do all that we can to lessen that. And garlic is a source that allows us some assistance. It's also had research done that it helps our athletic performance. So you don't even have to exercise at a high level. As a regular walker, yoga, whatever it may be, adding garlic is going to help that system work. But how do you use garlic? I've spoken with some clients in the past of like, I'm intimidated by what do I do with it? And when it comes in this form, they already have it in the jar. Why don't I just buy it that way? Well, I encourage you as a strategist for your health to buy the whole clove. One, it keeps on the counter for a really long time. But like I said, I like to roast it. So you can see in the clove on the left, I would slice off the top of that, take off just a little bit of the papery outside, not too much, drizzle just a tad of olive oil, and then wrap it securely in some aluminum foil. Roast it in an oven, and I do 3 or 4 of these at a time because then I keep it in the refrigerator. Roast it in that oven for at least 30, maybe 45 minutes, and it'll get real soft. Let it cool in the aluminum foil on the counter, and then go ahead and squeeze that into a stir fry, It'll dissolve into a nice soup, and it'll have a sweeter flavor than if it is, won't be quite as hot if you're eating it raw. Another wonderful thing is with dinner, go ahead and have a little olive oil on the table with some fresh crusty bread, and then smear that roasted garlic on it. So I know garlic and vampires, and it's Halloween, so maybe that's why that comes to mind, but have fun with that. Don't let it intimidate you. Turmeric, we're hearing it, it's all the rage. We hear about this all the time. You can take supplements for it. I personally use CureMed on a daily basis for anti-inflammation, but I like to also cook with this. Now, it is a booster for our mental clarity and our brain health. And it's a unique spice to add. So if you like Indian food, you're going to find that gets used a lot, and it's tasty. But I encourage you to try it first. For some folks, it will have an off-putting flavor. I don't find it that way. I find it to be very neutral. But again, tasting it with your own taste buds, you're going to know. Now, we want this one to really be absorbed. And out of all of the spices, this comes with a code. Our body absorbs turmeric much better, fully, body-wide, system-wide, if it's combined with black pepper and an oil, such as a little olive oil or coconut oil. Or even use, if you're going to make golden milk before you go to bed, use a milk that has some fat content in it. If you're using dairy milk, go ahead and use whole milk for 2%. If you're using a plant-based milk, then go ahead and add some of that coconut oil. It's delightful on scrambled eggs, roasted vegetables, and to add into soups. Once again, each of these spices, if we're contributing them, not necessarily on a daily basis, but with frequency during the week, we are doing so many good things for our immune system and a healthy body without it coming out of a bottle. Nutmeg, now that's one that is a sneaky one for depression, and it also has anti-inflammation properties on it. I've chosen a picture today to share with you that is a whole nutmeg, because we don't see that really often. We're always getting the ground nutmeg. Using these spices on a regular basis, if you are able to find the whole source, then I recommend that you do that, because the flavor will be more powerful. It'll be more intense. So these are little nutmegs, and you just need a small grater, and you would just grate that into whatever recipe you are using, or you can sprinkle it on top of applesauce. And it is the fall season for apples, so it's a great time to go to the orchard and get a little bit of sneaky exercise that way, and cook down a pot of apples and sprinkle a little nutmeg on top of it. Oh yeah, so tasty. Okay, so that covers some spices that you can add into your diet. Perfect time to do that. Pull down some new recipes, try some new spices, and take control of using the food you eat to be part of your health strategy. Now, let's have a little fun. Talking about Halloween. Yep, there are 6 healthy discoveries I have for you from Halloween. I know, who knew it? Usually we think, especially because of our childhood, that Halloween is all about sugary treats and empty calories. But actually, there are 6 health benefits that can come from celebrating Halloween. And that's what this is all about. So there's socializing, they're healthy treats for Halloween. We get sneaky movement, the social connections available, a little retail therapy, and yep, scary movies actually as a health benefit. So socializing with our kids in the grocery store. We've got here, this gentleman is talking about buying carrots, and we're socializing with our family. Socializing, that's important here. Socializing about eating a healthier diet and celebrating the season is about including all of our family, no matter how young they are, or carving Jack-o'-lanterns. Now if you don't have kids at home, maybe invite a neighbor over or have a good time carving a pumpkin yourself and then putting it out with a conversation with your neighbors. Halloween healthy options for treats. They aren't all Snicker bars, Skittles, and Milk Duds. No, the three favorites I have are dark chocolate, peppermint candy, and vegan date truffles. Dark chocolate is a great boost for the brain. A little bit of it goes a long way. There's a lot of research out there about the rich antioxidant properties of dark chocolate, and it is anti-inflammatory, and it does increase our blood flow. But the tip that I have for you today around inserting dark chocolate as a health benefit from Halloween is how you consume it. In the grocery aisle, I encourage you to tiptoe your way into to find what your palate will enjoy. If you currently are a milk chocolate eater, do not please go all the way to a 90% cacao bar. That will be much bitter. They're much more bitter. It doesn't have the sugar in it that the milk chocolate has. So start out at a layer of maybe 60% or 70% and work your way up if you want to continue to that end of the spectrum. Here is the challenge. When you buy the bar, and I encourage you to buy the full-size big bar, and even though on the nutrition label it says it's probably 2 servings, or maybe it's 1.5 servings, I want you to turn that into however many servings the squares are on there. So whether it's a brain boost that you're looking for in the middle of the afternoon, or whether it's an after dinner in the night wind down, little bit of relaxation with a cup of that ginger tea, break off just 1 square, and here's your challenge. Don't chew it. I want you to just let it slowly dissolve in your mouth. There is a connection, friends, to satisfy our sweet tooth. If we will allow that sweet tooth to slowly enjoy, you won't go back for the second bite 9 times out of 10. Trust me, I'm a sugar addict, and I had to train that brain to do that. And now you will find that it is very satisfying. But it's going to be a challenge for some of you. I know that, I get it, but I hope that you'll give that a try. Peppermint is a real go-to for me in a variety of ways. So I have it as a treat. So again, hard candies, peppermint hard candies are great to have around because they are antibacterial and at the same time boosts our energy, and it'll curb our appetite. So a peppermint candy, if you've got big afternoon cravings where you're going to reach into that bowl of candy at your receptionist desk or the bag you have hidden in your desk drawer at home, change it out with peppermint candy and just suck on a piece of that, and it'll help curb your appetite and help settle that craving. But the tea, the green leaf here, and using it as a tea or chopping it up with your fresh fruit for a dessert at night also is a really good way to bring peppermint into your diet. Now, I don't know about you, but the fall season, sinuses in our household kind of get inflamed because of the cool weather. Peppermint oil is a great remedy to do that. So put like 2 to 3 drops of peppermint oil on the palms of your hands, rub them together to put a little warmth there. And then just take some easy inhales, and it helps those stuffy sinuses, and it helps with a headache, that whatever reason you may have the headache, but especially from a sinus headache. And going into the fall, again, that's a time of the year that many of us will be dealing with the change of weather and dealing with sinuses. So peppermint's a really great go-to. One of my favorites is the vegan date truffle. As you can see by the ingredients here, all super yummy and all super good for your entire system. What I encourage you to consider, and I'm going to send you this recipe and with the email that you will receive post this presentation, is that I like to make these, they keep in the refrigerator for a super long time. But as we go into the holiday season and sharing treats with our neighbors and friends, our family members, coworkers. Adding vegan truffles is a nice balancer to some of the other sugary, rich treats we might give in a gift, because it gives the receiver of the gift options. Vegan truffles are gluten-free. They're very low in sugar, and that makes a nice option for if you're going to eat a couple of pieces of fudge, all right? So that somebody doesn't get a whole package of fudge, just using that as an example. But trying to be considerate in gift giving to give people different options. But this one, with again, a cup of tea at night or an energy boost during the day, is certainly delectable and delightful. All right, let's talk about movement. I'll continue to talk about movement in November and December, but this goes back to that one goal. This might be your goal. Maybe it's not inserting the spices. Maybe it's time to get a movement plan. And Halloween actually is a good time to do that. One, it's sneaky. So if you have little ones in the household and you're taking them around for trick-or-treating, you're going to get extra steps. But perhaps you live in a household that isn't what you're going to do with little ones, because there aren't any that live there. But the neighborhood has decorations. Use the time of the season as a reason to get out of doors. So whether you are looking at being a leaf peeper at the orange and yellow and red leaves in your neighborhood, or many of the yards are decorated for Halloween these seasons, walk through the neighborhood, take a stroll, make it an extra time that you're getting out and moving. But 5 steps. First, calculate the number of days that you can exercise. Now, frankly, we can exercise every day, but when we're setting our goal, if you put down 7 and you can't do all 7 in 1 week, then you're going to easily fall into that mind trap of I failed. That's not what I want you to do. I want you to calculate a number of days that are reasonable. You can always do above, but ones that you feel that I definitely can accomplish. And then pick the days that are best for you to do that. Determine the amount of time, determine what you're going to do. But the most important part of this step is action 5. I want you to personalize your plan. This is what I mean by that. When we go do an activity with a friend, we're held accountable, right? We tell the friend we're going to meet them at a certain time. We show up, we go for a walk, we have nice conversation, and it's done. But maybe you live in a house alone, or maybe the person you live with doesn't want to do the same exercise. That's all okay. When you personalize it by giving it a name, then you are more apt to be successful. Our brain, it's just like the date in setting a goal. When you give the practice you're trying to get started a name and say, okay, Betty, it's time we go for a walk. Even though there is no visual Betty, Betty's in your brain and she's with you. And so give it a name and personalize it, and you will move yourself onward to better success. Our social connections from Halloween, it's a great time. Now, remember, Thanksgiving, we have a lot of social opportunity. During the month of December, we have a lot of social activity, and then we kick off the new year. Starting right now in October with Halloween, it's a great time because our social connections really do tend to make us happier. It's proven that as humans, we have a longer lifespan with good quality, nurturing social connections, and we tend to have fewer health problems. So you can see these ladies, they have a nice mask over their eyes. They're out celebrating with a beverage. Halloween's another time we can do that. There are gatherings that we celebrate with costume parties and whatnot, but maybe that's not your cup of tea. That's okay. We also live in the world of Zoom. Look at, you're listening to this on Zoom today. Why not go ahead and just say, let's on Halloween have a masquerade conversation, whatever it may be. But Halloween does start the holiday spirit with social connections. And then we can step into a little bit of retail therapy. I know this one might sound a little quirky to you as a Halloween benefit. I didn't put you buying a Halloween costume here, but I could have. Why not go out and buy a Halloween costume, or like the ladies in the slide before, a little masquerade mask? When we give ourselves just fun self treats, it's all part of a self-care program. Maybe it is we want to buy a seasonal sweater, and it doesn't have to be one with a giant pumpkin on it. It could be just a new, warm, cozy going into the fall sweater. These are the types of self-treat gifts a little retail therapy does us health benefit. And it helps us just lift our spirits and illuminate our smile. It is, a little therapy does relieve the stress, lowers the anxiety, and reduces the depression. So it's okay. Well, this is the last health benefit for Halloween. It's not my prescription, but for some of you, it certainly may be. Watching a scary movie, research shows, is actually good for our health. So at Halloween, with all these spooky and scary movies that we have available to stream or go see in the theater, you actually now can say it's also good for my health, because it does spur our metabolism. You know, when we get startled and that burst of adrenaline comes out, our body actually burns more calories at that adrenaline boost. And when all of that occurs, it increases our white blood cell count. It's kind of like interval training, I think. But when we increase that white blood cell count, that's really good for our immune system. So if getting scared is one of your things that really gets you excited and you can't wait for Halloween and all of those types of movies to come on, I'm going to encourage you to have at it. I'm not sure how it impacts the quality of our sleep. I know mine, I'd be up all night, so I think I'm going to make a pass on this, and I might go do a little retail shopping instead. But you get to choose. That's what it's all about. When you invest in your best self, you're making choices. So whether you decide to insert those spices into your diet, whether it's a new movement plan, whether it's just sitting back and looking at Halloween as a holiday, a preparatory holiday for Thanksgiving and December, that's great. But here's bottom line, friends. Ease up on your self-criticism as to what you haven't done or I should have done. I want you to meet yourself where you are right now as you're listening to my voice. And I want you to allow yourself to live with moderation to increase your joyfulness. We only have one opportunity in this single-use experience of life. So why not make the most of it? Use this month. I encourage you to use October, the rest of this month, to prepare for a healthier Halloween and really look at the holiday season as improving your health opportunities as opposed to taking away from them. Well, if you haven't already signed up for the November webinar, it's going to be on the 12th. Registration is available right now. And we're going to be talking around managing the expectations around the holidays, and we'll be focusing on Thanksgiving. And when I say managing holiday expectations, those would be managing our perceived expectations from others and then our own personal expectations we have on ourselves and we project to others. And then how do we manage that Thanksgiving, that holiday conversation when we get seated next to Uncle Bob, who we know, oh my gosh, I don't wish to be seated next to Uncle Bob as much as I love him, but he's going to start talking about something that I really don't want to talk about. How do we get through that? And how do we better manage that? And then how do we better manage that Thanksgiving feast and get prepared for that and come away from it without feeling like we need to be in a food coma for the next week? So I hope you'll join me again in November. So thanks again for joining me today. It's been a delight to share with you this preparatory approach to the holidays, starting now in October, enjoying Halloween, Go ahead, have fun. Go count the decorations in your neighborhood, find a new costume, carve a pumpkin, and add spice into your diet as you go throughout the rest of the month. Please email me at mary@coreviewcoach.com with any questions or comments that you might have. If you aren't already following the Coreview Way on Facebook, I'd love for you to do that. And if you'd like to learn more about my work, you can find me at coreviewcoach.com, or if you'd like to schedule a conversation with me, visit thecoreviewway.com. Until we see each other again, I wish you a life filled with ease and that you may be happy, healthy, and whole. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great day.